Logan, thank you for joining me today on Pop Culture Unplugged.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, brother. It's good to be here.
Man, how you been, man? Sweet Magnolias, season four seasons now in. What does that feel like?
Dude, the reception's been unbelievable, man. I mean, we filmed it pretty much a year ago now, from last year. So yeah, the reception's been great. People, it's funny, leading up to it, I kept telling people, I was like, this is probably my favorite season yet. Nobody believed me because every actor says that about every project they do.
Yeah.
And now people watch it and they're like, oh my God, you were right. It's actually probably the best season yet. And yeah, I mean, number one on Netflix, man. I think we just got dethroned by Monday Night Raw, which, is expected. But yeah, man, everyone's loved it, and it's been an amazing experience so far.
The season was like an emotional roller coaster for you, for your Townsend family, would you say, huh?
Dude, yeah, well, we could talk some spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bill's death, especially, with Kyle, and number one, there's a time jump in between season three and season four.
Right.
So, with that time jump, there's a lot of kind of catching up to do. So, in that first two episodes, it's all about, kind of, it's exhibition basically on trying to catch up with the characters, and yeah, Kyle, he's growing up. He's in a relationship now for about a year with Lily, and as you get older, you get new responsibilities thrown at you and
Mm.
new obstacles to overcome, and obviously maturity. You got to mature, right? To
Yeah.
overcome those obstacles and those new responsibilities. So Kyle's already trying to find himself in this season, but
Yeah.
with Bill's death kind of obviously being the big shocker at the end of I think episode two, that's just it's another obstacle thrown at Kyle, and he handles it very, very well. I think you see that compared to some of the other characters, and I think that's just a testament to who he is as a person and the young man that he's trying to become.
Yeah. How did you prepare for Kyle's journey to go through this grief? And when you read the script that Bill was passing away, what went through your mind?
Dude, I was at a restaurant. I was eating with some of my friends, and I got the email, and it said, 401, and I was like, oh my God, script. So I sat there with my buddies, and I opened it, and or it's 402, and my just jaw just dropped to the ground. And they were like, yo, what's going on? I can't tell them anything,
Yeah,
obviously.
right.
So I'm like, this is insane, man. I start freaking out. I'm eating a burger. And yeah, man. It was insane, and the process of approaching that grief, I haven't really had anything super similar happen to my life when it comes to that. At least, recently, when I
Mm.
was a younger kid, yeah. So those emotions are hard for me to get in contact with because I was so young. So whenever you have things like this that you can't have like firsthand experience from, and every actor is going to go through, or at least every actor is going to have a character that they come across or at least audition for, that they're not going to be able to fully relate to. So the key part is whenever you're going through something that you've never experienced, find the similarities, right? And then also just find something that feels as close to what this character is going through as possible. And that's kind of my approach. Every actor is different. Some actors don't like doing that. For me, it's called substitution. Uta Hagen and some other acting teachers talk about it, and
Yeah.
it's just taking stuff from your real life and kind of using that as that stepping stone, which you got to be careful with, but yeah, that was kind of my approach is finding something that was kind of similar to Kyle's situation, taking that emotion or whatever that kind of made me feel, and then applying that kind of to the Sweet Magnolias puzzle.
Oh yeah, definitely. How do you think season one Kyle, now season four Kyle, looking back, how do you think he's evolved throughout the season as a character? And what do you think it was the most rewarding this season to portray him?
Like I said earlier, I think he's becoming a young guy, right?
Yeah.
And you see that with him finding his identity with Bill's death and obviously Isaac, the whole thing about Isaac Bonnie,
Yeah.
telling the whole table and everyone's like, "What the hell?" And then Guy was like, "What?" And so that, having a new brother is big, right? So it's about that whole moment was really cool. And Kyle he kind of, I don't want to say took leadership, but
Hmm.
he's the one that approached Isaac in that situation. You know what I mean? He's the one that really tried to make that bond because Isaac doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't want to overstep. So then
Yeah.
Kyle realized that I got to meet this guy in the middle, which is something we haven't really seen from Kyle before. He's kind of just like that quiet, nice kid that doesn't really like a lot of confrontation, right? And you saw in this season, he's growing into a young man who isn't scared of a little confrontation, isn't scared to take action. And that was really fun to play compared to some of the previous seasons. And I think that just like I said, um, that's just the props to the writers in the writers room and Cheryl Anderson, our showrunner and writer, what she's been able to do with the character and what she's given me. But yeah, this season, man, was finally probably I would say the biggest step in Kyle's character development. We saw it a little bit in season two, a little bit in season three, but I think he's becoming a young man. And what I love about Kyle is he wants to work on himself. Right. I think a lot of us when we're younger, we don't really, we're just kind of going through the motions sometimes. What I really like about Kyle is with all this going on with his dad, with Isaac, whatever it is, he's not scared to approach his feelings. He's not scared to
Mm,
fight through it. He's not scared
yeah.
to take what he's learning and apply that to himself. And I think that that's what you see throughout this season.
What do you think about it? I felt like this season Kyle and Ty's bond had got stronger. Would you say that?
Yes, I definitely would. I think that there's strength and distance too,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, I think of course with everything going on with Bill, that brought them together. I think with him being gone, that I think Kyle was like, "Oh man, this is what was on my older brother's shoulders. Now I'm kind of
Mm,
that second in
yeah.
command behind Cal, as like the kind of the man in that home and I think that yeah that was just very there was just dude you mentioned earlier there was so much going on with in this season with Kyle. There was
Yeah.
just one thing after another. He really didn't have time to take a breath, which I think is what makes his character development so amazing is the fact that he kept
Mm,
pushing through it. But yeah, when it comes to Ty and Kyle's relationship, I think yes, I mean, ever since the first episode when he, that Ty and Annie Tiny thing
yeah.
finally happens, he's that supportive brother and um yeah, I think they definitely had a lot of very very sweet moments this season and um I think Ty's character also realizes that what Kyle's going through and how he's kind of, because I'm an older brother as well, so I understand seeing your little brother kind of go through what you just went through. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And there's a special bond with that. I'm kind of guiding him, help guide him through the challenges and through life. And I think you see a little bit of that with Ty and Kyle. Even if it's not on screen, it's definitely off of screen, and I think
Yeah.
that's extremely noticeable.
Mm. How do you feel like with Kyle's relationship now with Maddie also? It feels like it changed a little bit this season.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think with Kyle's character, because Serenity has so much going on, Kyle, especially in
Mm,
the first few seasons, was known as that middle child. Especially in season one, that was kind of his storyline was the middle child that no one really
yeah.
gave attention to. It's not they didn't love him. It's not that Maddie didn't love him or that nobody
Mm,
loved him. It was just he's the middle kid and you have the older you have Ty going through everything going on there, then you have this new coach coming in the family, and that's
right.
Ty's coach, and then you have Katie's a little girl, right? So she needs a lot of attention and help with things. So then you got Kyle in the middle, who's a very independent kid as it is, um and he's a good kid, so he doesn't need a lot of surveillance, right? So he's overlooked very easily. um and oh man, what was the original question? Sorry, I went off on
Uh,
that tangent. It's
about
gonna
about Maddie and Kyle's relationship.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, I'm
That's okay.
trying to wrap it back around. And so in this new season with Bill's death and Maddie really being taken aback, she now has to go to every single kid and check on them and see how
Mm,
they're
that's
doing.
right.
And I think, not that Maddie never checked on Kyle. There's some really great scenes in season one and season two and three with Maddie and Kyle. But I think with this, there's just once again, she's seeing her other son become a young man
Yeah.
and it just and it's beautiful. And I think that the way that she's seeing how Kyle's handling the whole thing with Bill, how he's handling everything with especially toward the end of the season after Dev and that whole storyline with the friend Dev, she's just very proud. And specifically the scene when they're sitting on the or no, sorry, not what we're sitting, but when they're sitting in the kitchen and they're going through the old pictures with Bill before the funeral and everything, um and yeah, they're just talking. And she just you could tell she's proud of Kyle and the progress that he's making. And I think that this season that they really honed in on that in a beautiful way. And those scenes with Joanna are my favorite. She's not just a great actress, but also a great person. And she actually directed episode seven. Um, and yeah, I love those scenes so much between mother and son because every single time, every single scene, it's just Kyle and Maddie. You
Yeah.
see a massive step taken in that relationship, and yeah, then that happened this season quite a bit.
One of my favorite scenes this season was Kyle and Bonnie. I felt like those were some powerful scenes.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
talk
man.
Bill's mom, you know, like
Yeah,
tell us a little.
Yeah, Bonnie, number one, man. She did so good, Judith, man, who played Bonnie. She was amazing. And yeah, the ever we did the table read for episode 2, and she was there, and we're all sitting there, and she says her line. She goes, "It's Bill. He's dead." And the way that she said, dude, we all started dying laughing, bro.
Yeah.
And ever since that moment, she um yeah, she just was a part of Serenity, man, and part of this big family we have on and off of set. And yeah, I mean, it's that whole situation's very funny. Kyle, um, he doesn't want to overstep with the whole Bonnie thing either.
Yeah.
He sees how she's treating, Ty, and how she's treating, her mom and my grandma and or my nana and the rest of my family. And I think Kyle's vibe is very similar to the rest of, I think, the viewers and the audience. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like this lady's crazy. Like this is nuts, man. Like, he doesn't want to overstep anything or cause complications because there's already a lot of complications going on, so he just kind of takes that step back. So yeah, it's a very fun a very fun dynamic there, and those scenes were always very fun to be a part of because yeah, Bonnie's just so, you know, it's not that, like, she's not a mean person.
Hmm.
It's just she just doesn't know when to not overstep,
Yeah.
and
She's
that's
tough.
her
She's
problem.
tough.
Very, very tough. And doesn't know boundaries.
Hmm.
And I think that was really fun to play with.
Hmm. You mentioned Kyle's love life and everything through the season. I feel like he took some steps this season trying to figure out what he wants in a relationship, especially with Annie. But like, do you feel like they should just be better off friends, do you think?
With we talking about Ty and Annie.
With you and with Kyle and Annie. What do you think?
My character's with Lily.
Oh, that's right, I meant Lily. Sorry, that's my
Yeah,
mistake on that
You're
one.
good. You're
Yeah.
good. Yeah, with yeah. Well, I mean, they're doing great with um, Kyle and Lily are doing fine.
Yeah.
They're killing it at the end of that last episode. But yeah, when it comes to Ty and Annie, yeah, that's gonna be fun to explore the next season.
Mm. How would you describe Kyle's arc? 3 words for this season.
Uh, 3 words. Mm, like individual words or like,
Surprise me.
okay, all right. Uh, Substantial self work.
Exactly.
That's what I would say. That's what I
Yeah.
would say.
If we see a season 5, which I think we will, what do you hope for, Kyle? What do you hope to see?
Um, in season 5, I think in season 5, I know telling what they'll do with the time jump, but in that
Mm,
world, he'll probably be a senior in high school. So I think what I want to see is now that he's worked on every all the relationships around him, and you see him and Maddie and him and Cal
yeah.
and him and Lily and all of that and those relationships, I now want to see what his passion is, what he's going to do
Mm,
next.
yeah.
It's very similar to actually what they did with Annie this season. Annie obviously, figuring out
Yeah.
the photography school and where she wants to go there.
Yeah.
I would like to see something like that with Kyle. Like, what is he going to do? Is he going to keep pursuing acting? Is there going to be another thing in his life another passion that's going to come across his desk? Because I'm sure like, you'll be really into something, you think you want to do it, and then something else comes in. You're like, oh, this is my passion. That happened with me.
Right.
I grew up playing sports and playing football and stuff, and which I'm glad I didn't continue because I'm like 5'6". They would throw me around. But but I stopped playing, and then I acting came into my life and I was like, I actually love this. This is my passion. This is what I want to do.
Mm,
And yeah, so you just never know. But I think that'd be really fun to see with Kyle's character is that it's just to see where he wants to go in that next
right.
step in life.
Mm. So, Sweet Magnolias has a huge fan base. Have you like had a fan favorite reaction or like a message from a fan about your portrayal for as Kyle?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of DMs about people who are kind of the middle child and kind of how
Yeah.
that dynamic works and how you can be overlooked or whatever it is. And they did a really good job. Like you could tell the writers, Cheryl, all of them have a piece of Kyle inside of them, right?
Mm,
They definitely wrote that character with some of their own experiences and
yeah.
because it's very accurate. And I've gotten a lot of people DMing me, a lot of viewers, and they all just say how good it feels to be seen. I've had people also even this season talk about the whole thing with Bill and how
Mm,
they're grieving, grieving with
yeah.
something going on in their life, with the loss of someone, and how that's really helped them out, and how we really did it justice with how the characters reacted to it, and how they feel a part of the town. They don't feel alone. And that's beautiful. And I've gotten a few of
Mm,
those this year, and that's always that's one of my favorite parts of what I do, man, is seeing people's reactions and how it's affecting people's lives because I
mm,
think that's what this is all about. And in a show
right.
that's about relatability, I mean, one of the most relatable shows out there in the
Uh,
sense of we don't have CGI dragons flying everywhere, breathing
right.
fire. It's
Right. It's
everyday
real
issues.
stuff. It's like emotions. Yeah.
Exactly, it's real things we all go through,
Uh,
and 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 you can really get a sense of that just by talking to the fans of the show or reading the DMs.
is there one specific scene in season four where you could tell fans like go back, watch a certain scene or a scene that you enjoyed the most?
Yeah,
Or it hits you in the heart pretty much.
for sure. Um, Man, that's a great way. Some of my favorite scenes this season is the whole Helen and Eric dynamic. They're two of
Mm,
my favorite characters in the show. As a viewer, those are my favorite to watch. Also, Annie and Dana Sue, those scenes are beautiful as well. Just kind of that mom and daughter dynamic, and
yeah.
also too, like I said, with Helen and Eric, those two, that are met and destined for each other, finally kind of coming together. It was beautiful, and their scenes, and then actually filming probably my favorite one that I really enjoyed was I mean there's a lot, but the tailgate we did for
Okay.
Serenity Bulldogs when all the
Yeah.
characters, any scene that we have all the characters together is great because I don't get there's what, like probably 20 main characters in the show. So it's like you don't really get to do a lot of scenes with other people
Yeah.
unless you have the big. Also, the Halloween stuff was really cool. The Halloween stuff was really, really awesome. We all got to dress up and do the uh yeah, do the line dancing and everything. That was really fun. Just anytime we're all together because
Yeah.
we don't really get to all come together unless it's a table read or like a rap party for the season.
Mm.
So
So four seasons, is there a certain character you got excited about that you're gonna have scenes with that you haven't had the chance through the last three seasons or four?
yeah, what you mean in the future?
Or even like going through season one through season four. How excited were you? Were like, oh my God,
Oh.
I didn't have any parts with so and so on season one or season two. Now I get to work with them. Was there a
Yeah, there
specific
was.
person?
Yeah, me and Brooke Elliott with Dana Sue
Okay.
and yeah, that was, and Brandon Quinn who plays Ronnie,
Mm,
actually in season three. We we went on the scavenger hunt and we got to hang
okay.
out. And I literally had like, they might have said, I think Dana Sue said one word to me up to that point or something
Mm,
crazy. And so that's what I love about Cheryl, man, and that writer's room is they literally talk about how during the writing process, one of their main things is knowing, okay, what characters does the audience want to interact,
right.
and what characters do we want to interact that haven't before, and they kind of mush that together. So you see that a little bit this season as well. One thing that was really cool, I will say this, is in season four, there's a little scene between me and Jamie Lynn, between Noreen and Kyle.
Mm.
Obviously, they had a really cool friendship in season one. That they kind of started kind of doing their own thing, but that we had like four lines back and forth, two lines each, but it was a beautiful moment because you're like, this is that friendship that we kind of forgot about, but it's still there, you know?
If we get a season five, have you heard anything about when you think you'll start filming? Are they gonna take another year break? What's the plan? What have you heard?
I have no idea, brother. I have no idea.
Uh,
Maybe I heard some stuff, maybe I haven't.
there
I
you go.
listen, for all the fans out there that want a season five, because everyone's saying they do. If you want a season five, keep up the support. You know, if you keep watching it, if you tell your friends to watch it, tell your friends' family to watch it, and their
Right.
family to watch it, you know, you will hopefully get a season 5. But it really just depends on the support we get and the viewership.
What's next for you now? Any other projects you'll have to tell us about, or are you just taking a break? What's the plan?
Well, finally, the industry's starting to kind of speed up a little bit. Kind of, we're kind of getting back into the groove of things. And so I've been auditioning. I'm actually writing a feature film myself, and just trying to stay busy within the industry
Yeah,
and trying to grow and learn every day of the week, man. But yeah, nothing on the horizon yet.
amazing. Logan, I want to thank you for giving me a few minutes today. We got to continue this chat, man. Hopefully we see a season 5. We'll get you back on or any other project.
For sure, brother. Appreciate it, man.
So yeah. So